And then there was this rumor that I was a major Trump supporter, which...
What?
Welcome back to another episode of This Tunnel Lady is kind of cringe. Oh, no, watch out. She's right under me, isn't she? In case you're unfamiliar like I was just a few weeks ago, the Tunnel Lady, aka Kala, aka Engineer Everything on TikTok, makes TikTok videos documenting her experience digging a massive tunnel system under her suburban house. Is this safe? I do not know. Is this legal? I also do not know. But is this really, really good content? I do not know. After having heard about her for a while.
Don't lie, it is really good content. Let me say something, okay? That lady that's building tunnels, first of all, 2024, year of the tunnel, okay? 2024, year of the tunnel. So that's number one. Shira did an interview with her and Timeline.
In the age of DIY home renovation projects on TikTok.
Damn, is Shira put this out there at the same time as Danny Gonzalez? Uh-oh. It's not gonna get the boost. It's not gonna get the boost it needs on the timeline.
Like peeling kitchen resin or painting some stairs. Seems like a walk in the park when you see what this one TikToker is DIYing under her house. Meet Kala, aka the Tunnel Girl. And
she released it 2 weeks ago, she just re-uploaded.
Just as the name suggests, Kala is literally tunneling under her house with the goal to build a storm shelter and to mine precious stones.
I don't think it's because she wants to build a storm shelter. I think it's because she's just like, she's got girl autism. And in this case is like very similar to boy autism. This is one of those unique instances where the autisms converge.
And luckily for us, Kala has been documenting her entire process on TikTok, which we will be covering in its entirety. I was also lucky enough to interview Kala over the phone, which can I just say, like, was not an easy task. I have no idea if she's gonna pick up. Okay.
Hello?
Hello, is this Kala?
Yes, it is.
And I'm so grateful for it because the only other publication that got to interview Kala was NBC News, and that was in late November of 2023. And a lot of stuff has happened.
Colin Furza did it first? Yes, I know. Except from what I understand, his tunnels flooded, right? Colin's tunnels did? That's what I've heard.
Since then. Like her neighbors snitching on her and having her entire tunnel project shut down, or her being doxxed and allegedly exposed for being a Trump supporter. So when did you start the whole like Tunnel Girl saga?
I started posting in November of 2022.
I am about to embark on a new and complex project. I'm planning to construct a storm shelter off the side of my basement. It's going to take a very long time, a lot of engineering and a lot of planning and work, and I will be posting updates.
And she did, because on that same day, she put—
One of my favorite things is that, like, I love that she presented herself as an engineer, and then it came out that she was not like a engineer that builds stuff, but it was simply like, what was she, like an electrical engineer or a computer engineer or something? Like she was comp sci or something? She was a software engineer? Yeah.
Posted 2 more TikToks cutting the door to the tunnel.
Cutting the door part 1. After carving the vertical cuts, it's time to chip the remaining concrete. I still have so long to go.
And a little bit later, she posted this video.
Finally, the opening in the wall is complete. Now it is time to cut the waterproof membrane and see what is behind the wall. As I continue cutting, I notice that there is a lot of hardened concrete that was poured along with the backfill gravel behind the wall, and that is something that I'm going to have to cut out.
And then just 5 days later, she already made huge headway in her storm shelter project.
Working on the storm shelter. Got a few feet excavated out, putting it all in a pile.
Now by this point, unfortunately, she was not only running out of space in her basement from all of the rocks piling up, but she was also running into a bunch of technical issues with the tunnel.
So we're running into some problems that have put us into a dead halt. We have run out of space for excavated rock and have to get the elevator working now.
And although Kala seemed pretty confident in smash smash, dig dig, rock rock, but electricity? Well, it seems like a pretty big challenge for her.
When I first started the account, I was getting a lot of criticism from electricians for something I started with. I was did a really shoddy job at installing
Oh
a
my God.
welder outlet.
Lady, please stop. Get someone who knows what they are doing. Painful to watch, knowing how it should be done, but I guess it's okay as long as the house doesn't burn down because of it.
So I continued to learn and improve and incorporate feedback from the electricians, and now most of them are longtime fans of mine.
And it's true, as time went on, all of Kala's skills greatly improved along.
Bro, the city came at her and was like, you need to get a permit. And then boom, she did get a permit. Let her dig. Okay, listen. 1, spoiler alert. Okay. 2, that's it. Spoiler alert,
Inside
actually.
this
That's
tunnel.
it. Don't
And
spoil
she
it.
took criticism like a champ.
I realize that I don't know much about electrical and it's not something to play around with. So I've decided to listen to the experts and have professionals do the work for me so that the work is done properly and correctly. Or that's what I would have said if I was anybody other than me.
And literally almost a year later, she literally almost mastered electricity and blew all of the electricians' minds away.
I am working on the mine under my house and currently upgrading the electrical system and will hopefully get rid of all the extension cords. Previously, I set up all the conduits and boxes. Now I'm running the wires for 3 branch circuits. One of them will be this 240 with an emergency cutoff switch. It will be used for welding and fabricating inside the tunnel system as well as to support a more powerful pump in the future. Meanwhile, back in the basement, I'm finishing up these junction boxes and installing a receptacle and switch for the blower fan. That looks pretty good.
I'm an electrician. This lady gave more knowledge than 50% of my co-workers possess. As a fellow electrician, I approve. You are a very impressive person. I am a journeyman electrician in Las Vegas. I'm proud of you, Sparky.
Now this just kind of tells me that Kala somewhat knows what she's doing with the tunnel, and I'm confident in her skills, and if she doesn't have the skills, she is willing to learn and adapt, which we love. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go back in time where Kala made a lot more mistakes, like welding inside the house.
This is the most idiotic thing I've ever watched. How are you gonna weld in your house? 1, and 2, what the hell are you gonna weld?
I am going to weld a mine elevator cart using sheet metal and angle iron per the scale model that I created first. I am fabricating in my laundry room, so space is very tight.
And it becomes pretty disastrous later on when she posts this video. Why did no one tell me that fabricating in the house ruins the house? And in the description, she writes, I have steel shavings in my bed and suit in the kitchen. Hashtag engineering, hashtag DIY, hashtag welding. I mean, again, I'm no expert, but I feel like this should have been kind of obvious, maybe. But I guess you live and you learn. And despite all
So it turns out not only children yearn for the mines, but women also. Yes, dude, women and children should be working the mines. That's my takeaway from this.
of the drawbacks, the mine shaft was finally complete.
Lost some of the load over the edge. Got a dumpster. Second shaft. This time it's working perfectly. Dumpster is filled. So convenient.
Now I can positively say that this is probably the first time in my life where I've been excited about a mine shaft, but here we are. And I was trying to put my finger on why this content is so alluring, and I realized that it's really similar to the primitive built content that used to go viral a couple of years ago. I think part of the appeal of Kala's tunnel project is that it's fun to see someone do physically laborious tasks while
But it's also she has such a pleasant way about her.
we're I don't know, not doing them while
I don't
we're
know how to
sitting in
describe it. It's she goes through it step by step. She's always like, yes, it's very cool. Today I'm going to be welding the tunnel. By pleasant, you mean sociopathic? Come on, man. Let people enjoy things.
at home and enjoying our snacks and not having to go down to the tunnel and mine. Now, the biggest problem that most people have with Kala's project is that it could possibly collapse. This DIY mine could cause a sinkhole so large that it not only engulfs her house, but also her neighboring houses, causing irreversible property damage and possibly even death. And the tunnel did actually end up collapsing at one point, which sounds really fun and cool.
I'll laugh when your shelter caves in.
Some of it did collapse today. Big chunk of rock from around here fell down overnight and collapsed onto the ground here. There's also a few more that are probably going to let go. As an engineer, it is my job to solve geotechnical problems. If you're still laughing, then
It is kind of funny how Kala calls herself an engineer in this context because, yes, she is technically an engineer, a computer engineer. Like, would you still call yourself an engineer in this context if you were, I don't know, an audio engineer? Like, I don't know if I would trust deadmau5 with tunneling under my house, you know? Attention. Is there a doctor on this plane? There is a passenger in need of assistance. Yeah, I'm a dentist? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Attention. Is there another doctor on this plane? One that isn't a dentist. Now, although Kala does not have formal qualifications, I do believe that she
Computer engineers yearn for a remote cabin in the woods, isolated from society. This lady's no different. Yeah, I mean, she's using her autism powers in the direction of, she's channeling her powers of autism to something productive, or rather, even if it's not productive, at least she's not like, you know, blowing off the fingers of random dudes who work at Radio Shack. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? More constructive.
is a great learner. I just think it comes down to like mechanical engineering and construction being like a hobby, and she probably learned about it on the internet or through books.
Building anything, but particularly the tunnel, does require learning a lot of different building disciplines. And some of them I already knew before I started the project. I know concrete, I know basic structural design, I know reinforcement and rebar and plumbing.
And luckily enough that Kala knew about plumbing, because just a few days later, the entire tunnel was flooded.
I just got back in town after a few days Christmas travel, and the storm shelter is filling with water. The water looks dark and terrible like sewer water. I better start pumping. Now that the hose is no longer obstructed with a kink, the water is flowing much more freely into the main central sump system. After an hour of pumping, the water level is dropping.
How does it like not stress you out? Like I saw one of your TikToks where the entire basement like flooded, and I would have a little panic attack if that happened to me. Do you like not get stressed out by all that?
No, because I expect some things and others are a learning experience, and the complications are what makes it challenging. And building a tunnel is challenging by its very nature. It's going to be difficult and there's going to be things that'll go wrong, but I like problem solving.
Well, it's lucky that Kala likes problem solving, because the problems keep on happening, because after the flooding, the entire thing literally caught on fire.
I've come to know a new drawback using fiberglass rebar. Apologize for the poor camera work. This is my first time using a fire extinguisher, and I'm a bit in a panic. I am investigating a fire that broke out in my tunnel. Last night I was welding some steel forms and the rebar and membrane caught fire. I was able to put it out quickly with an extinguisher and the damage is not very severe. A couple of sticks of rebar and some plastic appear compromised. I have to remove a section of form to complete investigation and make repairs.
I would have to say that I'm a worse content creator than Kala, because if there was a fire in my house, I don't know if I would reach for the camera. But then I would like hope that I like filmed some of it, because that's a pretty like interesting story. Like, hey, my house burned down. But also like, I don't know, maybe I should be calling 911.
If Mike Ehrmantraut knew of her existence, then the other German guy would not have had to die.
Whoa. Oh my god. Fire. Whoa. Guys, look. Wait, is that a lady?
Help!
Oh my god, she's on fire. Wait, this is gonna be crazy. Okay. Guys, I was going on a hot girl walk and I literally found a house on fire. And there's like a lady in there like yelling like.
Now that we went over most of the disasters in Kala's tunnel project, let's get a quick overview of everything that she got done in 2023 before she inevitably got shut down in December of that same year. And
It reminds me of your brother in a way. Yeah, except his projects are still like almost perfectly aligned with his expertise. Yeah, like the only thing that you could say about Murad and her being similar is that they're both autistic. That's it. Like Murad is building his car, building a trailer. What question marks? My brother Murad and the lady who's building the tunnels. They're both engineers, but like Murad is an aerospace and mechanical engineer, whereas the lady is a software engineer. So as an aerospace and mechanical engineer, like the shit that he's building, like I don't think he'd be great at tunnel making, I feel like.
this was the first video that she posted on the 10th of January 2023.
Another weekly update on the storm shelter. Made a temporary sump pit at the lowest level for water to accumulate and completed 2 of the block walls. I need to reinforce the overhead rock with bolts and a ceiling. I have 3 possible alternatives for building.
And yes, for the record, he would be way more qualified to build a tunnel than a software engineer, but even then I would not feel comfortable with him building a tunnel under my house.
In the ceiling. The first is to keep poured concrete on a form, so create an arched form and then pour the concrete on top of that continuously all the way down. The second option would be prefabricated concrete sections that would be raised into place, and then the third is with concrete blocks.
And while taking suggestions from one of our commenters that said, arch with a pour seems the easiest based on my 1,000 years designing tunnels and watching calling furs. She ended up building out the wood reinforcement with a steel form and then pouring the concrete onto that form to create an arched concrete roof.
I'm in a tunnel with 5,000 pounds of wet concrete over my head, and the only thing separating me from becoming a pancake is my own engineering.
And as the year followed, Kala put some reverb up on the bottom walls to help reinforce the concrete when it gets poured, and then welded some more steel forms. Now, don't worry, if all of this sounds super complicated to you, well, it does to me too, okay? I'm trying my best here. But it is important to show you all of this for context. Kala also finally hires some outside help and brings a small group of workers to help her pour the concrete to the bottom shelter walls.
Done.
Now, by this point in the series, we are about 8 months into 2023 and about 4 months away from the inevitable project shutdown. And this is when Kala removed the steel forms after the concrete hardened and did some more precious stone digging. And after all this, Kala ended up posting the most anxiety-inducing video that I have possibly ever seen, where she does a full basement tour. And as somebody who hates clutter, hoarding, and a mess, this is literally my nightmare.
We are now in my normal looking basement. I'm renovating this room. It's a bit haunted. And off the side of the laundry room is a hoarded bedroom and my workshop. Moving further back is my home office and the entrance to the sub-basement. Everything on this side of the house was built by me a few years ago, and the spiral staircase goes down a hexagonal well. The sub-basement is a great mess since I have been building tunnels off of it for the last year. This is the entrance to the tunnel system, and to the side is the steampunk mechanical box. The entrance tunnel goes down a decline 30 feet in and 10 feet down. The first chamber is 22 feet below grade and is approximately 10 feet by 6 feet. The sump basin is covered up in that corner. There is a pile of useful building stones stacked here, and some waste rubble here. I am currently working on this branch tunnel and was recently stopped dead by getting splattered in the eye with Dexpan. What do you think? Should I convert my house into an Airbnb?
Funnily enough, this probably would not be the worst Airbnb that I have ever stayed in, trust me. And it might even feature a castle, as Kala decided to build one in the future using the precious stones that she mined.
Over the last couple of weeks, the production rate at my suburban mine has been at its highest yet. I am currently quarrying stone for building a castle. I will need millions of them. I have been harvesting a nice vein of building stone, but I'm concerned that it is starting to peter out as I move north. Nevertheless, I'm getting quite a bit of nice stone. After removing it from the dumpster, I stacked some of the smaller pieces against my wall to see how it might look.
And I do love that the top comment of this TikTok is, "Your neighbors gotta be fed up," and Kala replying, "Really? I thought it was pleasant. I love mining sounds." Now, I'm gonna have to agree with this commenter. And as somebody who frequently enjoys a good daytime nap, I think I would absolutely despise being Kala's neighbor.
Let me tell you, as someone who unfortunately has a Kala-style brother, power tools are really fucking annoying, especially in the middle of the goddamn day, okay? And we're not even talking about mining equipment at this point. Really, really fucking annoying. You guys, thank the gods that my noise gate is so goddamn powerful, okay? Because, to be fair, power tools are even more annoying at night. Yes. Sometimes it works at night too. Like when Marat forgets to turn off like the air compressor, and I wake up terrified in the middle of the night because the air compressor has a leak in it or something, and it automatically starts because he forgot to turn it off. And then it's just like brrrr, in the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like grabbing my katana, okay, running downstairs in my goddamn underwear, being like, all right, the assassins are finally here. It's time for me to put this thing to use. It's time to make that chopper sing. Okay? Many of you have no idea. I used to work in a basement with an air compressor. Very annoying to yell over that thing. Many of you have no idea what an air compressor sounds like. Okay? Let me tell you, at 3 a.m. is not a good sound to wake up to. Okay? So yes, I know what it sounds like at night as well. And I know what it sounds like during the day.
Neighbor. All jokes aside, I think noise pollution is what ultimately led to Kala's mine being inevitably shut down. And it all started when one very clever investigative journalist dug deeper into Kala's background.
My name is Aura Bogado, and I'm an investigative reporter. Several weeks ago, after I noticed that Kayla had posted a video of one of her neighbors without his consent, and that she had made really clear that her neighbors had no idea what was going on, I decided to try and figure out who those neighbors were. So I found out where she lived, and I noticed that almost all of her neighbors are Central American migrants or first-gen immigrants. I began contacting them, and not one knew about this tunnel project. They're really worried about their health and their safety. They talked to me about noise, like tremendous noise, essentially noise pollution, and shaking, like just random shaking in the ground that they didn't realize where it was coming from. And several neighbors expressed to me that they were worried about reporting anything because they don't want to get entangled with immigration authorities and they don't want to be deported.
Now, unfortunately, one of Kala's neighbors did end up snitching on her and reported her to the city in early December of 2023. That's when Kala was issued 2 separate stop work orders, and that's when like somebody from the city has to come in and like look at the tunnel and see how safe it is and see if they would allow a permit, which could like literally take months. And this was a pretty big problem for Kala because she had a huge following of dedicated fans who were waiting for more tunnel content. So she had to break the news. And she did in the most Kala way possible.
Good morning. I need a moment to pull over. Just give me a second. Are you sure that's what they said? They're from the city? Yeah, I'm not available right now. Can you see if they'll come back tomorrow?
I love the, like, I mean, this is obviously, like, all of this is content, right? Here, look.
And she did.
I need
Like,
a
she's a
moment.
very good content creator.
Pull
Look,
over. Just give me a second.
like, she filmed this. She put her camera down and filmed herself pulling up. Like, she put it all together. You know what I mean? Like, it's a sketch. It's a skit. She's like reenacting it and stuff, and she's doing it in a way where it's like as though it's happening in real
Are you
time.
sure that's what they said? They're from the city? Yeah, I'm not available right now. Can you see if they'll come back tomorrow? Yeah, 10 o'clock. That's fine. Okay, bye. Hello.
Good morning, how you doing?
Good morning.
I don't know if you remember me, I'm Jack Smith.
Yes.
I'm a Bayport, building official. This is Jimmy Jones with the zoning department, and Brian with inspections.
What can I do for you?
We have some complaints, basically there's some construction going on. And we were just here, basically, to find out if there is and see what needs to be done.
What
Yeah, this is fake.
kind of construction?
Basically they said it's excavation. That you're pulling stuff out of the basement.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can we go down and take a look?
Sure.
Okay.
So they did give me a stop work order and are requiring an immediate evaluation by a professional engineer. Fortunately, contrary to few rumors here, it is constructed entirely below the slab of my house, and it shouldn't be too hard to get the permits and approval. So we'll be working on that.
I mean, give that woman an Oscar just from the so dramatic, so beautiful, a masterpiece. And yes, she hired voice actors. I know, the effort, the artiste. Now, I did end up asking Kala about the shutdown. So you did have to stop working, right? Unfortunately.
For now, correct.
Do you know when it's gonna be like resolved?
I can't say because permit process takes a while. So I submitted all the document plans and the engineering to the city, and so they went through their initial review. They came back with a set of comments. I now need to address those comments. That will probably be a week or so of me addressing the comments, and there may be even more revisions. So it usually takes a few months to get permits, but the process is moving along.
Now, although I'm a huge Kala fan, and I still think the entire project was
I still don't fully understand why she was building the tunnel to begin with. Are we supposed to know? Because like he said at first, like, oh, this is going to be a storm shelter, but very quickly we find out it's not actually for storm shelter purposes, considering that it flooded. You ain't ever played Minecraft in the shows?
girl slay. But I can't be a little bit critical of it because Kala did do some sussy things here and there, like not getting a permit.
Yeah, there's a few things I did wrong, like not getting permits up front is not by the book the correct thing.
Oh, so it's illegal for women to have hobbies now? Yes. This hobby is literally illegal. For people saying, oh, I guess it's illegal for women to have hobbies, my answer is yes, it is literally an illegal hobby. This is not a hobby that is legal, okay? For example, flight simulator might be your hobby, okay? Might be. You might want to fly a plane. Flying a plane without actual licenses and regulations, very illegal for understandable purpose, okay? Just saying.
Thing to do, but it's not rare in the construction industry or even in my neighborhood or in any neighborhood. Probably half the houses have unpermitted work.
And the thing is, I don't doubt that people do unpermitted work around the United States and in her neighborhood, but they also don't post that same unpermitted work to
Motherfucking nanny state, brother.
TikTok for a year and a half and garner 500,000 followers and millions of likes.
The one W I will mention here is that there's no homeowners association. That much is very clear to me, wherever the fuck she lives, because I feel like if she did have a homeowners association, to be up her ass so fast.
Kind of puts a target on your back. And people will eventually start asking questions. Like they did. That's like, I don't know, getting away with robbing a bank and then making a TikTok how you robbed that bank and how you got away with it.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the craziest night of my life. Now, I went out because it was my cousin's 21st birthday, and I wasn't meant to be drinking because I'm the designated driver, which is boring. My cousin was only turning 21 one time, so I was like, I gotta have a few shots to commemorate this, and I'll have a snack, and I'll be fine. So we get to the end of the night, and I am dropping everybody home, and I'm fine. I'm sober, guys. And honestly, we like live in the middle of nowhere, so it doesn't even matter if I'm drunk, because I've driven that road like a million times. I could do it with my eyes closed, honey. Also, I'm using Born This Way Too Faced concealer on my under eyes, and after I dropped everybody home, I was driving myself home, and then all of a sudden I hit something. Oh my god. And let me tell you, I'm like in the middle of nowhere by this point. The woods, okay? So I think it's just a deer, right? It's probably just a deer, because who hasn't hit a few deers in their life? Now listen, I don't think much of it, so I just drive myself home. Like, it was 4 a.m. What was I gonna do? Get out of my car? It's scary out there, okay? And I'm tired. I just dropped everybody home. I need my beauty sleep. But then, the next morning, I get a news alert that there was a hit and run in my town, and this old man literally just died on the road. And I'm not saying it was me who killed him, and it could have just been a crazy coincidence, but it's also possible, like, I killed this guy. And for my eyeshadow, I'm using the Clio eye palette.
Now let's get to the juiciest part of this entire saga, and that's the fact that the investigative journalist, or Abogado, did end up uncovering some more sussy things from Kala's background that are kind of alarming and aren't that fun.
Turns out that, yes, she's a real person, and she's all over social. Like, she has a different TikTok account, she has a Facebook account, Insta, you name it. I found that she has a Twitter account, and she follows a whole bunch of the Trump family members and has also liked some of Donald Trump's contributions. So there's that.
Now, at the time of the phone interview, I had like no idea about the whole Trump thing or her background. So I'm kind of glad that she brought it up herself and luckily addressed it.
In January or the early part of the month, I was like, I don't know that I'm even going to ever make any more videos because, well, there was so much like digging into my personal background and doxing and like anger and people talking about that they're all going to petition the city to deny me or they hope that I get shut down forever. And then there was this rumor that I was a major Trump supporter.
What?
So somebody found my private Twitter account.
Yeah.
And I liked a total of 3 Trump tweets, probably 4 years ago. So they posted it very much out of context, and then everybody started making videos of how I'm MAGA.
That's so TikTok. I love that. Also, I mean, who doesn't like Trump tweets? You know what I'm saying? That's like the best thing Trump has ever done.
Trump supporter, and so a bunch of people hated me for that reason, and I was getting a lot of really awful, and you know, just a disclosure, I'm not a very political person. I'm very independent.
Yeah.
Probably lean slightly.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think she is a Trump supporter, for the record. Just make no mistake. This should not be like something that takes her down or whatever, but she definitely is a Trump supporter, okay? Anybody that says, oh, I liked a couple Trump tweets and also I'm a very independent person. No, you're 100% a Trump supporter and you're lying. No normies out there liking Trump tweets without being a fucking supporter of Trump, okay?
Towards Biden, but I'm very independent. It was hurtful that I was getting all these very hateful political comments directed towards me. Unfortunately, it's died down a lot.
And this
you like Trump's tweets? Yes, because I'm a Trump supporter. That's the difference. Yes, which is not different at all from her support for Trump. Guys, I'm a political commentator. I think I can get away with a lot more weird shit that I do because I'm endlessly fascinated about the world of politics. Whereas, like, that's why I specified when someone is a normie and they like Trump tweets, it's a little bit different. For the past 10 years, my politics have been very public. Okay.
Kind of like broke my heart because people on Reddit did end up doxing her and leaking her address, and I'm not.
That part, classic internet. Okay. Classic internet, always the same. I'm not gonna say never change internet. I hope this attitude changes. Okay, this is gross. It's disgusting. I despise it. I hate it so much. Everybody operates like this, and it sucks.
Not really for doxing people. Even if you're a public figure, I think you deserve some privacy. That's kind of horrible that people did that to her. And sure, she was doing something, you know, a little naughty, but is it ultimately the worst thing ever? Like, no. Guys, be for real right now. I genuinely don't think that Kala did this little tunnel project with any ill intent. In her NBC article, she describes safety as her number 1, number 2, and number 3 priority with the project. She goes on to say that, I wouldn't say that I'm concerned about safety or structural stability. For the most part, 99.9%, everything has gone according to plan and according to my engineering. There have been a few very, very minor mishaps. Can we stop like the witch hunt? The city's checking out her little tunnel, they're gonna come back with the verdict, and then in a couple of months we'll see if it'll get shut down or if Kala can continue. And I hope that she gets the permits, okay? I really hope that she can continue making the tunnel content because I'm invested, okay? Next, you should watch my Incels Insane Criteria for Women video, because if you like this video, you will probably like that one too. And if you have any video ideas, please send them to me on Instagram, Twitter, join my Discord community of over 900 dedicated members. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Stop counting the permits. Why are you permit watching? A lot of motherfuckers are out here pocket watching, and some people are permit watching, and I don't appreciate that. Dumbass TikTok investigative journals ruining the good name of us tunnel builders. Yeah. Go like the video, by the way. Obviously, chat. That's from Shira. Friend of the show's friend of the show. Friend of the show Carter's friend of the show. Have a hard time feeling bad for a chud who endangered the lives of her immigrant neighbors. She sucks. Daily dose of Patrick Bet David. Yes. Oh.
Do you know who's...
We should just do this every day. You guys find me Patrick Bet David videos every day that you like, and I will watch it because like instantly I get put in a good mood.
Do you know who's the #1 journalist in the world today? It's a guy named Elon Musk. Do you know who's the #1 journalistic organization in the world effectively today in just 6 weeks of him running it? It's called Twitter. The way he's running it, we're about to drop some news. They're doing more journalism than CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, all of those cats, including Fox, all of them combined. Twitter's doing more investigative journalism than any of those 5 cats combined, and it's ran by citizen journalists.
Dude, my goat, dude. He's so right. Real, true, brave. Is he allowed to say that? Can he say that? You know what I mean? These are questions I have. Can he say that? Is he allowed to say that? How can he say such true things? You can't show this much dick riding on Twitch. Yes, I can.
You're doing?
Facebook. I've got Hasan. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.